It's only in me, I'm a hustler. But one thing on my mind and I don't mean to stop.
Gotta get to the top, we ain't playing. Always win, never flop, 'cause we're on the right track. Going 20 miles per hour, we don't look back. We just close our eyes whenever there's a red flag. Full acceleration, full thing on the right attack. Yeah, we're at the attack.
iRacing.
A week long of qualifying has all come down to this. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the last day to get yourself in to those super sessions on Saturday. Welcome to Crandon International Raceway, and welcome to the final day of the Crandon Championship qualifiers. My name is Keenan Kuzin, and ladies and gentlemen, we have a treat for you this morning. And some of the best drivers in short course racing and iRacing are battling it out to try and make those top 20 spots in the super sessions tomorrow. And of course, we have what we had all week with some World of Outlaws stuff, which is going to be interesting today, some ExoCross stuff that we're going to have today as well, and a second race this evening. So if you're an off-road fan and you want more off-road action today, we are being spoiled all across the board. But ladies and gentlemen, we are still in the iRacing office. Just kind of, they put me in out of one chair into another one. I get to actually, I feel, I'm at my my papers. Most of that's important, but I'm really privileged to be out here at the iRacing headquarters, and I'd be able to be a part of this broadcast from probably the best place to do it. I'm getting my ears blown out. From one of the best places to do it. And one of the best disciplines, and it's something that I'm super passionate about. What's up, Twitch chat? What's up, YouTube chat? We actually have you guys today, which is nice. Didn't break it. But if this is your first time watching dirt racing, this is going to be a treat for you. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a ton of nuance. There's a lot that is different about dirt racing, especially short course racing, that is very different from traditional asphalt road racing or asphalt oval racing. But today, again, as we touched on just a little bit, this is the last day of qualifying before the super sessions on Saturday. So if you want your chance to try and make top split, be part of those top 20 drivers, there are 2 more chances. Your 11 a.m., which is our race now, and your 9 p.m. Eastern tonight, which is going to be stacked. A lot of the strongest off-road drivers in the sim based out of California, based out of North America, but I mean, we're going to get into it in a little bit. There is absolutely no shortage of good drivers in the session today. Obviously, again, if you are unfamiliar, I see some new names in the Twitch chat. But if you're unfamiliar, you need to be C-Classer and above, just outside of rookies. We were using the Pro 4 truck, which we'll get into a little bit later. And we are at Crandon International Raceway, which is basically the Daytona for short course racing. This is the home of short course racing in North America. You will have a sprint race followed by a feature race, and there's been 7 qualifying races this week. You are getting to watch probably the best 2 before we get into the finals tomorrow. So, again, top 20 will make it in on points, and every super session beyond that. You still get to race on Saturday, but here's what happened yesterday. Yesterday we were treated, again, in the morning sessions. The land rush starts here at Crandon, just something to behold. It's been pretty tame all week. Yesterday was a bit different as we saw some bumping and banging, and again, no Crystal King in this race. It was all Oliver Golding and good mercy. Oliver Golding ended up taking the sprint race, but it was not without some action in between. Again, the midfield fighting for every position they can. You see Oliver Golding just edging out Tyler Shattuck in that first sprint race, but there was positions to play for all throughout the field. 4 wide, 5 wide, 4-5 truck battles. Then we got into the feature race. And Oliver trying to do what Crystal did on day 2 and go back-to-back. And it's really hard to do that here at Crandon. You see, obviously trying to hold the inside line is not going to work. We had drivers like Quinton DeLomo not being able to have a good run as well. He's in today's race. We had a huge crash early on in the race. And again, as we talk about it, Quinton DeLomo trying to earn his way in, and I don't believe he is currently in that top 20 to be able to race in top split tomorrow. So trying to make something happen. Again, Oliver Golding trying to be able to get back-to-back, wasn't able to get it done. Tyler Shattuck earning his way into the victory circle this week and surely setting himself up to be able to make that. As Brian Sora decided that man wasn't going to want to play Nintendo anymore. He was my turn with the Xbox. And off of the exit stage right, again, I'm kind of stammering here a little bit, but there's so much fun in these races, even though there's only a couple of laps. Hello, Twitch chat. Nice to see some new faces out there. Nice. I think that's the first time I see Seth this week. You're pretty good. What are you, my dad? Who sent you? Which one of my family members sent you out here? But yeah, hopefully we get some new people. That's my goal personally this week, is to have some people who haven't seen off-road racing and iRacing to this level and be introduced to it and go, that's super cool. I want to get into this. How do I get into this? But there's a couple of vehicles to choose from. But today we are at the highest level of short course racing in iRacing. That is the Lucas Oil Off-Road Pro 4 truck. We got four-wheel drive. We got a 410 cubic inch V8 under the hood, 900 horsepower, and 4,000 pounds of weight to throw around these dirt corners. And there are no assists, no ABS, no nothing. All you have is both your feet, both your hands, try to keep this beast in between the lines here at Crandon International Raceway, and that is no easy feat, let me tell you. This track is tough, it's fast, there's tight corners, there's fast corners, and of course, the outlier or the equalizer is that 10 wide land rush start in these machines. Is so difficult to control these for a long period of time, and it takes a lot of seat time and a lot of patience to be able to extract the best out of these machines. So talked about it a little bit. Let's get into where we are. Again, this is the home of short course racing in North America, Crandon International Raceway. Big corners are going to be that land rush start going into Potawatomi turn 1, Ponte turn 2 as well. That's for the first big jump on the racetrack. So that's where you're going to see some contact mid-air. A lot of times you'll see the drivers be patient turn 1 and then really impatient turn 2. Gravel pits, a big banked hairpin. We have Cowboy Corner, which is another really tight hairpin. We'll get into it when we're kind of going into the race. But there's a lot of hot spots on this racetrack and a lot of places to keep an eye on. It's really, there's a couple really good venues in iRacing for short course racing. Bark River springs to mind for me personally. But these are the standings as of this morning. Obviously some names that you have seen this week and some names that you haven't. Sean Winkler from Racecraft being able to take the top spot on the board through last night's race all the way to the top, usurping Nicholas Dashley, who's kind of been uncontested. Crystal King getting bumped down to third. Dane Culver entering the fray now in fourth position. Tom Grady, another one of the Racecraft regulars, in fifth position. Thad Countryman's in the mix now. Oliver Golding getting knocked back to about 9th, 10th. Those top 10 are pretty well safe for that top 20 in the Super Session. Against some other names, Aaron Vasquez, who gave Connor Berry last year's winner, probably the most challenge he had all day, so he's in the mix. Stead Miller's up there now. Daniel Solo's up there now. Terry Miller has recovered from his rough Wednesday afternoon. And Miles Morse, who I believe has raced every race, have made it into the top 20. So these are a lot of names that you will... These are a lot of names that I've been trying to get in. And again, there will be splits of 20 for every Super Session. But our very own Chris Leone, tied with his best friend in the world, Ian Fisher. It's cool to see CJ Greaves there as well, off-road racer in the mix. But Chris Leone trying to throw his name in the hat. He's going to have to race either today or this evening if he wants to see his name move up the list. Whew. Lots to talk about this morning. Whole lot to talk about. I think that's Oliver Golding in the chat as well. What's up? Qualifier results been second, fourth, second, third. Dude, you were so close yesterday. So hopefully see you to the top of the board there. Dirt Road is the best racing on the service, hands down. When it's good, it's good. I think that's the best way you're describing Dirt Road, at least in the short course side. Rallycross is great as well, but we're focusing on short course this week. So, again, I think if you have a field of drivers that kind of understand the assignment and we can kind of lean on each other a little bit, but no wrecking, no bumping, no death. I think that's kind of where the best of short course shines and where you guys are going to see a lot of the best racing. Speaking of which, somebody who had a chance to win it all the last time that we had a Pro Series here in short course racing, Joe Blewett. Rookie, came out of nowhere, surprised the field, and gave Connor Berry a run for his money. Connor Berry and Keith Swain won for their money in the last pro race. So cool to see Joel out here. He has, as far as I can tell, not in the standings. So he's going to need a big win today to be able to secure, or at least a solid finish, to be able to secure himself in the top 20. We have a over 5,000 strength of field race, which I know a lot of you in oval. Where are we going, Joel? Although a lot of you in the oval and road world are like, well, that's not very high. But in the dirt world, 5.6K SOF is pretty insane. So Joel is going to try again, do his best to get that truck towards the front. You have Zach Blanche from Australia, again, all over the world, as we're going to ride on board with the 12 truck here in its qualifying run. We'll talk you through Crandon International Raceway here as we're coming into the gravel pit. I believe he is going to start his first qualifying lap. As we get a camera, I've been told we're going to ride on board with them. I guess we're just taking our sweet time. We're going to kind of ride to the outside, and the third Crandon flag, you'll cut inside. Start your qualifying lap. 2 whoops right off the bat here. You want to kind of tap the brake in the middle of the air, get the nose down on the truck, get on the turn. It's really important you get your line in this S correctly to set yourself up for Argonne Corner. Very deceptive corner, kind of a late apex here. You touch that berm on the inside, that's a 0X. That's game over for your lap. Big back straightaway here. You're going to see him ride to the center of the track and track out to the right and into Cowboy Hairpin. This is a very banked, tight hairpin. You almost see a lot of counter steering here as well, which is another way to drive these trucks. If you're super sideways, you're just bleeding time. But you see some drivers run up high. You'll see some drivers run low. That's best passing opportunity on the track. And then this is Potawatomi turn 1, which is you're going to see is the turn 1 at the start of the race when we are funneling 10 wide down here. If you've never seen this in short course racing, it is a treat to see. And then Ponte turn 2, the logger's best friend. Again, there's 2 different lines here. You can run kind of tight, but the wider line towards the top of the track can carry much more speed down into the next tight banked corner, which is gravel pit. And come up, you almost want to V it like a motocross bike and straight line the exit and carry as much speed as you can into the next best passing opportunity, right into the Calamity Corner. This is the last corner on the track. You have that inside wall. We have seen issues there all week. Track it out wide, and a solid lap for Zach Blanche, 17. I believe that's a 17.2. He's going to want to try and see if he can improve that a little bit. Only good enough for 8th position. I can only speak for myself, and I mean, I'm no slouch. We made the Super Sessions last year, and I've been running 16.8s this week, and a 17.2 only good enough for 8th position. This should show you the kind of speed that we have in this session. If you're watching this and going, wow, this looks like a ton of fun, I want to get into this and see what I can do and see if how I stack up. Go to iRacing.com today. You can get started right now. The Pro 2 lights are free. That's included with your subscription. Wild West Motorsports Park is also included with your subscription. One of the best combos in short course racing on the service. So if this looks like a lot of fun to you and you want to get started, head on over to iRacing.com right now and jump in and see where you fit into the mix as we ride along with Evan McFarland. Speaking of Rallycross, somebody who came over from the Rallycross world. We had a Rallycross Pro Championship. A lot of drivers were doing that, and then we moved over into the short course side, and a lot of Rallycross drivers said, you know what, I'll give this truck thing a try. Quentin DeLoma, who's in this session, I believe. Yes, he is. Quentin DeLoma's in the session, is one of those drivers. Evan McFarland was somebody that I raced with in Rallycross, and very young kid, just getting started in the sim, not in the sim world, but just getting started in his sim career, I would say. Solid lap for Evan there. He's going to put himself 16.501, so he'll be in 6th position. Very solid for the KS Industries machine, number 6. And he is well within the top 10, so I just think he's trying to see if he can get a little bit more breathing room. As this is not the only thing we got going on, ladies and gentlemen, today. So we've got our qualifiers here as well. We're going to have some preview for the World of Outlaws game with Matt Lewis back on. We're going to get into some career mode stuff. I've been looking forward to that all week. ExoCross, we're going to drive the Titan 700 today, which is the fastest vehicle in the game, with Paul Coleman from ExoCross going to be joining us as well. And cannot stress enough how excited I've been to tell his story this week. So I'm really stoked to talk to Paul. And then we are back again at 9 p.m. Eastern time for our final qualifier for the Super Sessions tomorrow here in the Crandon Championship. As somebody who's been towards the front of the field all week, Cody Vanderveer. He's been on the podium. He's had solid finishes, but hasn't quite found that last step to get to the top step of the podium. He's going to be starting 7th place with a 16.555. Couldn't prove that on his second lap. A lot of commitment here with the laps as well, because of that big swing, you kind of have to decide whether you want to go for it or not. Thad Countryman is another driver who has been excellent so far this season, has really improved over the last year. He's soon to be starting in 3rd position, unless he is usurped by another driver. Daniel Solo, one of those drivers that's towards the back of that top 20 from the outside looking in. So he's still in the top 20, but the more drivers who participate, and there will be a ton of drivers tonight, might put that spot into jeopardy. He's from Sweden, so going to be almost 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning for him tonight if he wants to race again. So this race really important for Daniel Solo. So we get 2 races for you this session. So we will have a 6-lap heat and a 10-lap feature. The finishing order of this first race, our sprint race, will set the order for the feature. But ladies and gentlemen, it's your starting position, unless you're all the way to the right and in those top 3 in the flat area of the land rush, almost is not relevant whatsoever, because you are in the blender and kind of at the mercy of your fellow competitors. So we'll see what they can do as we start to get some trucks on the line here. But here is your starting grid for our afternoon session for our qualifiers. So Tyson Miller going to be on the pole position with Crystal King. Obviously, we saw her dominate on her Wednesday split, so she's back trying to improve her position in 2nd place. Thad Countryman, Quentin DeLomo, who had a horrible afternoon yesterday, so he's going to need a good finish today in 4th position. Joe Blewett, again, has not set a time this week as far as we can tell, so he needs to stay up on that top 5 of that number 1 truck. Oliver Golding, Evan McFarland, Cody Vanderveer, Daniel Solo, and Zach Blanche round out your top 10. Joey Herbie, nice to see him out here. He will be in the 11th spot. Greg Johnson, we saw a race yesterday as well as I fumble with my cord in 12th. Our only Canadian in the field today. Let's go. We have some representation. Miles Morris right on the cut line. He needs about as good of a finish as he can get in 13th. Stead Miller, Michael Halfitson, and Emerson O'Shea will round out your top 16 drivers as we get some drivers on the line here ready to send them all down 10 wide into Potawatomi corner in turn number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have never seen a 10 wide start for short course racing, especially at this high of a level where there's not a 0% chance that they'll crash, but they'll make it. There is a chance that they'll make it. We've actually had some fairly clean starts this week, but like we said, there's a lot less time now. This is the 2nd to last qualifier. There's a lot of these, especially a lot of the Europeans. This is do or die. As we are on the line, we're getting ready to drop the green flag on the 2nd to last qualifying race as the 14 jumps to start. So Emerson O'Shea is going to have a penalty, but we are green, green, green here at Crandon International Raceway for our 2nd to last qualifying race of the Crandon Championship. Crystal's hitting with the whole shot. She's going to get it, but we are 4 or 5 wide as their trucks beating and banging each other towards the back. That's Evan McFarland getting knocked back there. I believe that's Michael Halfitson that's turned around. Emerson O'Shea, that was the 10 truck of Daniel Solo. He's turned around. So we had a huge issue there towards the back of the field. But we are not settled towards the front. Quentin DeLomo giving the bumper to Thad Countryman, trying to be able to sneak towards the inside. Crystal King had the lead, but she's gotten passed by Tyson Miller. And 3, 4 wide, we have trucks beating and banging coming into Calamity Corner. Quentin DeLomo trying to get to the front and just get clear, but I think that is Joe Blewett is the one in the lead. I know how to read, I promise. But Quentin DeLomo to the lead, but he has not stopped getting hit since the start of the race. He came on the radio and said, come on, guys. We just need to get solid here. We're letting those top 2 pull away of Joel Blewett. Again, a championship caliber driver, and Crystal King, a championship caliber driver in her own right. Good gosh, that's probably, again, the craziest start that we've had today, and it's only going to get crazier tonight. Cody Vanderveer now seems to be the bottle as we have a bunch of drivers sending it in. Trying to get it done in Cowboy Corner, like I said, is probably one of your best passing opportunities on the racetrack. As it looks like we are almost 3 wide. That's Evan McFarland to the inside, trying to make something happen on Cody Vanderveer. Not going to happen. Actually grabs a little bit of the wall. Oliver Golding's to the inside. He's going to grab the berm. Keeps the truck on the racetrack, but is going to lose a ton of time. And now Tyson Miller's to his door. Evan McFarland, again, rallycross driver, trying to make it over here in the trucks. Has had a great week so far. A podium or a solid top 5 in the sprint race. would be the cherry on the sundae. The KS Industries driver. And, oh, I think that was Zach Blanche on the wall. Kept it straight. We saw that happen with Terry Miller this week. As Joel Blewett, super comfortable in the lead. Crystal keeps keeping him honest, but as we've seen today, or this week, a lot of times when that leader kind of sets sail at the front, it's kind of hard to do anything about it, as that battle for fourth position has not settled down at all. Again, if you've never seen short course racing, the fenders are somewhat important to the vehicles. There is a little bit of draft, especially with this long back straight. I think that was Evan McFarland going a little bit too wide in the cowboy corner, and that's all it takes. You have one tire off of that banked area on the corner. The truck doesn't want to accelerate. Evan McFarland losing a spot to Oliver Golding. Oliver says, thank you, sir, as Evan trying to put the bumper to the back of the truck. It's not going to work. He actually loses time, and now Tyson Miller's in the picture. So the sprint race, is just to set the grid for the feature. So a lot of those drivers that we saw, Daniel Solo, Emerson O'Shea, had issues, that Countryman that had issues early on. It's not over for them, but it makes their life a little bit more difficult because now they have to maneuver the land rush start as we are 3 wide coming out of gravel pit. Evan McFarland and Oliver Golding are not letting this go as Crystal King is to the back of Joel Blewett. Joel Blewett, again, trying to set sail and kind of get comfortable, and look who's behind them. Who needs a good finish right now to get himself into the top 10? That is Quentin Delomo. You want to talk about people who are skilled in a rally car. It is the Frenchman of Quentin Delomo, part of the Delomo brothers, who are an institution in the rally car scene and have made their way into the trucks and have been driving incredible since. We have scraps all over the racetrack. We would call this in hockey a bench brawl. Evan McFarland giving the bumper to Oliver Golding. Oliver's going to over-rotate Evan using the banking. He's going to get a good run out of the corner, but now Oliver Golding's going to get some speed on the inside. They're going to be side by side, as my fellow countryman would say, into the Potawatomi corner. This bank downhill turn. Oliver going to try to hold it on the inside. Evan going to try to make it work on the left. Oliver going for a big swing as Evan's tight on the curb. Oliver's going to say, excuse me, sir, that position is mine, but Evan closes the door. Trying to catch my breath here. We have been full throttle since the drop of the green flag, and we are nowhere near done yet. Crystal King, again, keeping Joel Blewett honest. I think the idea is just to try and pull away from Quentin Delomo as beating and banging are Oliver Golding and Evan McFarland trying to make something happen. But the more they fight, Tyson Miller sneaks up the inside, and he's going to get the pair of them. Tyson Miller up in the 5th place. What is going on the racetrack? Again, we have not let off the brakes since this race has started. The battle for 5th has been going and has not stopped. Oliver Golding giving a shot to Evan McFarland there. He's going to move up into 6th as Tyson Miller puts the hammer down and tries to set sail from this blender of trucks behind him. Down in the cowboy corner now. Evan McFarland using the high line. He's going to cut towards the inside. Oliver Golding sees it coming, shuts the door. And again, Zach Blanche is the one that takes advantage. Oliver and Evan have to settle the differences here because they're bleeding spots. Every time they door each other, they got to settle this beef because they have lost 2 spots now by fighting. So somebody's going to have to go, okay, we got to settle. We got to figure this out because we keep falling back and losing time to the drivers behind us. Tyson Miller having snuck through. Zach Blanche right to the front now. Evan McFarland to your outside. Oliver Golding's going to send it in. He's going to use Zach Blanche as a wall, and now Oliver Golding moves to the front of this field, and Zach Blanche moves to the back. Ladies and gentlemen, you are getting a treat right now. This is short course racing at its finest, and we still have a whole 10-lap feature to go. And talk about drivers who had a bad start who are now to the tail of this battle. Greg Johnson's entered the picture. That Countryman's entered the picture. And they're still battling pretty hard behind them. Moving out of Argonne corner now. Really important that you get a good run out of this turn, heading down in the Cowboy. One of your best passing opportunities on the track. Evan McFarland has went from the front of this field to the back. He's going to try to get something done. He goes super wide. Hello, Thad Countryman. How are we doing, sir? Entering the picture, trying to make something done on Zach Blanche. Can't get it done, but he'll clear Greg Johnson for 10th spot. Moving up into 9th is Thad Countryman. As we are still battling pretty hard for this 7th position now. Evan and Oliver seem to have settled the differences. They're going to catch up to Tyson Miller, but now Thad Countryman, trying to make the best out of a bad start, has moved into 9th and trying to take 8th, and Greg Johnson, the Canadian, the lone Canadian, trying to follow him through. Down into gravel pit, Joey Herbie now. Somebody who we've seen, if you're familiar with my channel, in the Little Rascals Pro 2 Light Series, and he's only been getting better and better and better. He's to the tail. He's to the tail end of the field. And ladies and gentlemen, every position is so important. If you're in that top 10, you are to the outside of the front row. So 10th position, there's no inverts, nothing like that. But 10th position, so important because you'll be all the way to the left on the front row. Anybody from 10th on back will be on the back row, and very much, no pun intended, on the back foot. So every position in this sprint race matters because it is basically, it's not basically, setting your starting positions. Talking about important starting positions, if you're all the way to the right, you get the chance to get that whole shot, the lead position. It's also, Crystal talked about it in her interview on Wednesday, is so important to be all the way on the inside because it's not just the inside of the corner, but it's the flattest part of the land rush start. No jumps, no bumps, no nothing. So it's very, very advantageous for that lead position. But Joel Blewett, again, we talked about it a little bit at the top of the broadcast, one of the only drivers among maybe a handful that gave Connor Berry a hard time in his championship in these Pro 4 trucks in the iRacing service. Joel won some races, had a really good chances, some bad luck towards the end of the season was the only reason he wasn't in the picture, and he was a rookie through all that. But he's going to take the win. He's going to win the sprint race. Crystal King kept him honest. She's got something for him in the feature race. Quentin DeLomo finally getting a good finish. He's going to need to carry that over into the feature with 3rd. And we had a heck of a battle in the midfield. I think everybody from Cody Vanderveer on back to Miles Morse should give themselves a round of applause. That was a treat to watch. If that was your first short course race that you've ever seen in the iRacing service, you've been given a treat, and we are nowhere near done yet. Wow. We have our current points leader, Sean Winkler, in the YouTube chat. What's going on, Sean? Congratulations. Hope to see you Saturday night. What's up, John74? These racers are crazy. Maybe I should race these trucks. You absolutely should. So we take a quick look at our finishing order and our starting order for the feature race. That's Joel Blewett, Crystal King, Quentin DeLomo, Cody Vanderveer, Tyson Miller, Oliver Golding, Zach Blanche, Thad Countryman, Greg Johnson, and Joey Herbie ended up sneaking there and rounding out the top 10. And then some drivers who need some better starts and better finishes. Miles Morse is one that comes to mind. He's currently 20th in points. Evan McFarland ended up getting knocked back there. I believe he must have had a jump start or some sort of penalty. Not sure what happened to Evan. Emerson O'Shea, Daniel Solo out here did not have a great start. Instead, Miller, part of the bottom 6 drivers. We have to send Evan a ping ski here on Discord to see what happened to him. He was up there. What's up, Tyler? Tyler Shattuck in the Twitch chat. Let's go, Joel and Thad. Try putting this thing on the top. Most competitive morning qualifier all week. Again, I think it's the highest SOF. You got some really, really strong drivers in here. It was really fun to watch you race, Oliver. That was a blast. So as we can take a look back at what happened here, again, there's your land rush start. We've not had a total mess of a start yet, but obviously Daniel Solo going to be one of the victims there, getting punched over the wall, and then the battle commenced, and it did not stop. That Countryman getting set in wide there, he ended up making a decent recovery. Cody Vanderveer kind of having his own little world up in front, but we had battles in the front of the field, battles in the rear of the field. Joel Blewett in the all-white machine was getting pressured constantly by Crystal King, somebody who already has the win in these qualifiers this week. She's trying to improve her position. She's trying to make sure she goes in as the top seed for that top 20 super session. Does the track state carry over to the feature race? Not in this instance. I thought it did, but we talked to Crystal on Wednesday, and she said it felt basically like the track had reset for the feature. But again, we've had 7 qualifying sessions this week. Our super session fields are set by highest points scored in these qualifiers. So it's basically like a 13-week season in iRacing, all condensed down into 1 week. So it works exactly the same, but instead of winning a championship, you get put into the super session, and then your finishing position from the super session determines where you finish. So just because you're not in that top 20 does not mean that you can't race. I believe, if I can get confirmation in my ear on that. does not mean you can't race on Saturday. Apparently there's been some confusion on that. Maybe that's my bad. You just blame me. I'm the face here. That's fine. But obviously everyone wants to make Top Split. Top Split's the bragging rights and where all the best competition is. I raced in Top Split last year. It was crazy just to be in there, and you learned a lot. And iron sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron. So again, drivers that need good finishes that are currently in this race. Miles Morris right on the cut line there trying to make it in. He needs a much better finish in this feature race. Daniel Solo, we saw him have issues. He's going to be starting from the back, but if there's an issue on the land rush, he's going to be right there to take advantage. Shane Paul, somebody we saw, had a really, really bad start to his week. He's still needs maybe some better finish, but he's going to be solid. Aaron Vasquez, unless we see him race tonight, is going to be content with that 12th spot. He's going to have to be content with that 12th spot. Greg Johnson is on the outside looking in right now. Wes Graham's on the outside looking in right now. Jeremy DeWitt is on the outside. Zach Blanche on the outside looking in right now. Trevor Teal, the Nitro Circus Sim Racing head honcho, I'm sure would like to see himself in that top split, but we're going to have to see him race tonight if he wants to get his way in. He's very much on the outside looking in as we are getting some trucks on the grid. Again, Joel Blewett, Crystal King going to be the start of that front row of 10. Quentin DeLomo, it needs to convert a good fit sprint into a good feature race finish. Cody Vanderveer just looking for a solid run. Tyson Miller up there in the mix. We saw him, Thad, Evan. The battle in the middle is insane. Joey Herbie, somebody who's had a really good run today. Miles Morris needs to break that top 10 and get some good points on the board. And Evan McFarland, who fought the hardest in that sprint and unfortunately lost it towards the end of the race, starting all the way back in 16th. Engines are revving, the lights are on. Emerson O'Shea jumps to start again, and Evan McFarland jumps to start again. He's going to go to the front of the field as we are green here in our feature race for a morning split. Joel Blewett to the inside. He still had the whole shot. Zach Blanche, Oliver Golding in the wall as we are relatively clean, but the fight is not over yet. I believe that's still Zach Blanche to the outside. That may have actually been Miles Morse. Now that's Zach Blanche in the wall. As we are clear, all trucks have survived. Again, I believe that'll be Evan and Emerson with a penalty for the end of the race. We'll have to see how that sorts out. A little bit of dooring there as that Countryman in the middle of the blender as Joel Blewett to the front of the field, nice and clear. Crystal King behind him, and everybody's hungry for spots. So we got a one truck in the wall. That's Evan McFarland who jumped the start. He's going to tap the inside wall and get pushed behind. And now, what does he do? Does he try and hold this position and keep as many trucks behind him? Or does he kind of get out of the way and let boys have at it here behind him as he gets punted out of the way by the number 15 and Michael Halfenson with a rocket ship of a start. He's up in the top 10. Everybody filing into each other in Argonne Corner as we come down to Cowboy. Ladies and gentlemen, keep your eyes peeled. Our top two have set sail once again. But as we saw in the first race, all to play for. Oliver Gold is going to go very shallow. Michael goes wide. Michael Halfenson is going to have the run, and he clears everybody from P nowhere up into in the top 5. The 15 machine of Michael Halfenson as Thad Country makes the move on the outside. Gonna have to run. Bad bounce for Michael, and Thad gets sent wide. He's on the mic. He's not happy about it. Evan McFarland again with that jump start penalty. He's to the inside of Michael now. Oliver Golding to the back. It's from downtown. Cody Vanderveer trying to get himself in the mix. This is not done, not by a long shot. And like we said earlier, 10 laps this time. Slightly more time for these drivers to get settled and settle their differences here in the Crandon International Raceway. Evan McFarland trying to push the 15 machine of Michael Halfenson wide. Michael's not having it. He knows Evan's got a penalty. He's trying to keep his position. And Evan now, the cork in the wine bottle, trying to keep Cody Vanderveer and Oliver Golding behind him. The Tyson Miller's back there. We saw him take advantage of some drivers fighting hard. Thad Countryman, the bridesmaids and there has not been the bride. He's getting pushed back. Again, Greg Johnson, Zach Blanche, Miles Morse, all drivers that need great finishes who are seeing all of this fighting. Ladies and gentlemen, they were 4 wide there. They are not settled. Everybody behind this is super eager to make something happen. The longer you wait in short course racing, the less time you have to try and pull away and keep that position. Much like short track racing and oval, if you throw the bumper, you give somebody the fender, you better hope you can pull away or you're going to get it right back, as I think 4 trucks all leaning on each other through Ponce Turn 2 coming down to the gravel pit. Evan McFarland going to try to send it again on Michael Halfenson, who is still capitalized on a great start and is solidly within the top 10. All he needs to do is just stay there. That Countryman's starting to move his way up, back up the field now. He's to the back of Tyson Miller. Huge line of trucks. Tyson Miller not getting the best run. It's going to kind of go towards each truck, a Constantina effect. Whew. Can we breathe here for 5 seconds, ladies and gentlemen? Calm down. We got 10 laps. Speaking of calm, again, I think what you're going to see with this top 3 is Joel Blewett, Crystal King. We saw Crystal kind of give Joel the business. Joel goes a little bit wide. Crystal's going to have a good run coming out of the corner now. And Quentin DeLomo's behind both of them, licking his chops. He needs a solid finish. I'm not sure if he's going to just keep that number 3 truck in 3rd place, take the points, and say thank you very much. Once again, this is a super high SOF, the highest I think we've had, at least in the afternoon splits, all week. So we'll see if he just stays put or tries to make something happen for the lead. But all 3 of these drivers, I think the goal is totally different. This is not the super session. Let's save our fighting for Saturday. And everybody behind them is still fighting as we are too wide. That Countryman, Tyson Miller, that Countryman, it thinks it's Formula Drift, sending it in backwards into gravel pit, but he's going to get the pass done on Tyson Miller. Tyson Miller going to try to make something happen on the outside. Really hard to hold it around the outside here of Calamity Corner, but if you can keep a fender in, you've got a good line, and he just can't get it done. So that Countryman with a great recovery back up to 6th position. What's the SOM? I think it's in the 5,000, Sean, over in our YouTube chat. Speed Week is here as well. Nice to see everybody watching. Again, if this is your first time in short course racing, you guys are getting a treat, and it only gets better from here. We're racing tonight at 9 o'clock, and we have 2 more races or super sessions for everything to play for tomorrow on Saturday. So stay tuned and do not go anywhere. Follow us again. Watch us on Twitch, on YouTube, wherever you're watching. Make sure you're back here tonight. Make sure you're back here tomorrow for the super sessions. This seems to be the best battle on the racetrack. Tyson Miller and that Countryman have been trading lap times since the start of this race, and we talked about it a little bit. Now that we have some time to breathe, that some damage on these trucks is not the end of the world, but usually a visual representation of a bigger problem. Some toe damage, some camber damage. It is a thing. It won't slow the trucks down 2 or 3 seconds a lap, but it will make a difference, especially in a straight line through these big long straightaways. And again, if you want to get into this, Pro 2 lights are free, Wild West is free, there is short course racing to be had with your base subscription in iRacing, and even then, to own all of the short course content, not a whole lot to get there. So iRacing.com right now. You too, maybe next year, maybe can be in these super sessions. And even if you're not racing the super sessions, the Pro 4 Fixed and the Pro 4 Open has been popping off this week, and all the races have been strong. A lot of practice races for these drivers, so you can get a chance to race with people like Joel Blewett and Crystal King. As Crystal King right to the back, you see the vendor trying to say hello on the broadcast. As Crystal King to the inside of Joel Blewett, but Joel Blewett's going to have the outside line, and he'll have the speed. This is what these drivers are seeing in the cockpit. This is the gyro cam, so every movement of this truck, you see the bank of the corner here from Crystal King's view, jumping up the first jump. Here comes the big one. See the truck get light and then slam back into the seat, really close to the inside berms as Crystal King, but you, just like any form of racing, you need to use all of the racetrack. Coming down into gravel pit now, see if you can make something happen. You see all the bank, you're going to go inside and almost use the outside apex instead of an inside apex. V the corner, straight line it off. And Crystal King's got a motocross background. Not surprised that she picked up to this really quickly. And then a little bit wide here. I think she's trying to set something up on Joel. Has spent enough time looking at his back bumper. And again, highest SOF at least in the afternoon splits. So a win here for Crystal would almost surely guarantee her into the Super Session top split on Saturday. And again, you can't take out Quentin DeLomo from this picture. He has not dropped back, only about half a tenth back on lap time from these 2 lead trucks as the track starts to slow down here a little bit, starting to wear in now. So you'll see some different lines. You're going to have to brake a little bit early. You're not going to have as much grip from the dirt in tight corners, much like Cowboy. So you're going to have to back off just a little. back up your braking points like you would in oval racing if your tires were starting to wear in. Tire wear also a factor in these trucks, as iRacing has continued to update the tire model on these machines, as they will wear in throughout the race, even though it is 10 laps. Joel Blewett going a little bit wide there. Again, Crystal's going to be able to stick her nose in but not get the run off the corner. She's just filling his mirror, trying to force the Englishman into a mistake. As Joel actually goes really, really shallow there, not getting the best run in the corner. Joel is showing some stuff to Crystal. He is making some little mistakes, but not enough for Crystal to be able to send it up the inside. We now have a bet in the iRacing office of whether that fender on the inside survives the race or not. I feel like it's just Crystal trying to wave at us, doing her best. Down into Cowboy corner again. If you go a little bit wide, we saw it from Evan McFarland. You put one tire up off the banking onto the flat part of that hairpin. As we take a look at our broadcast racers, you know, Cisco might be used to seeing this, but this is new for Drew and Justin in the broadcast booth. Cisco's usually my spotter when we end up doing some off-road races, so he's used to the bump and grind here. You're welcome, Drew, for the reference. I think that's Usher. Might not be Usher. It doesn't matter. They're laughing. That's great. And Crystal going a little bit tight. She's trying to just fill the mirror right now, Joel Blewett. Not really going for an overtake. And again, if you're watching this and not currently part of the iRacing service, 40% off all new memberships. And I said it earlier, there is short course fun to be had with your base subscription. The Pro 2 Lite's probably my favorite truck to drive in the service. So you can join right now, save yourself 40%, and then we'll see you in the Crandon Championships next year. Plenty of time to get to grips with these machines. The Crandon's not the only track that we have. We've got Bark River, which is a blast. We have Firebird, which is the Thunderdome, I like to call it. Such a fun place to race, as Tyson Miller and Thad Countryman have not stopped their argument here for 6th position. And Cody Vanderveer actually falling back. Oliver Golding having a great finish. He's in kind of in no man's land right now in 4th. All he needs to do is just hold it. Tyson Miller with a punch to the back of the head of Thad Countryman. I think he just came on the mic and said, "My bad," because Thad has been used up in this race. Not even just in the feature, but in the sprint. Everybody hates Thad today. I don't know what Thad did, but everybody has found their way to run into that number 2 machine today. Cody Vanderveer, the lead of this pack. You see Thad Countryman missing some pieces on his Pro 4 truck. As we enter 2 laps to go. Coming down into Calamity Corner. 2 laps to go. Are we going to see a move for the lead? Are these drivers just going to keep it settled? I guarantee you in the rear part of the field, they are not going to keep it settled. A lot of these drivers need every point to make sure they don't have to race again today, and they can start preparing for Saturday. Thad Countryman now about half a tenth off Cody Vanderveer that last lap. Cody's going to park the inside. That's going to give Thad the run on the outside of the corner. We'll see if we can get to the bumper of the number 7 truck going into Cowboy. This is one of the 2 best passing opportunities on the track. Taking a look to the inside is Thad Countryman, but putting it back in line is that's Oliver Golding wide. That's going to give Cody Vanderveer nowhere to go. They are into each other again, as Thad is now to the outside of Cody Vanderveer. Cody's not going to have the run coming in the corner if he chooses to go defensive. Thad Countryman going to get to the inside. He's stuck to the outside now. Is he going to give Cody the bumper going into Ponce turn 2? He goes to the inside, grabs a bit of the berm. Cody Vanderveer in the wall. He gives it Thad nowhere to go. This fight's nowhere near over. Gloves are off. Coming into the last lap. Again, we are 2 to go coming into our white flag of our second to last qualifier race for the week. The leaders have taken the white flag. 1 more lap to go. We'll let you know if anything happens towards the front 3, but it looks like they're pretty settled down. Oliver Golding with a mistake. He's now back into the field. We have up to 4th still to play for. As nothing going on towards the lead. Actually, I say that. Crystal King is about as close as he's been, and she's been a 10th faster in the last lap. Joel Blewett's been basically uncontested, but Crystal King to the inside. She tries to make something happen. Joel Blewett. Crystal King to the lead, but she hold on to it on the outside. Joel Blewett the better run to the inside. They're going to be side by side coming down to the Potawatomi turn 1. Joel Blewett barks the inside of the corner. Crystal King nowhere to go, as someone who has been one of the nicest short course drivers in the service might be getting her villain arc. Gloves off as she is to the inside of Joel Blewett. Can Crystal King get it done? Gravel pit now. 2 corners left to go. Joel Blewett to the outside. Slide job from Crystal King. She gets it done. She'll have the inside line. Quentin Delomo still very much in this conversation. Who's going to get it? Will Blewett to the outside. Tries to go for the crossover. He ships Crystal King wide. They're going to be side by side. Who's going to get it? Joel Blewett by a fender. Wow, she tried her best. Joel Blewett played it perfect, backed off, gave her the bumper. A lot of people might be thinking that's dirty racing. Ladies and gentlemen, that's just short course racing. And some drivers who needed some good finishes are not going to get it. Daniel Solo, Joey Herbie, Greg Johnson, they're going to have to race again today. I'm out of breath. Crystal did everything that she could, but it wasn't enough. Joel Blewett with the 5D chess move is going to take your win. Quentin Delomo got the finish he was looking for. Oliver Golding with a solid finish. Cody Vanderveer rounding out your top 5. Thad Countryman, Tyson Miller, Evan McFarland, who's got all the way back down to 8th. Zach Blanche, Greg Johnson will round out your top 10. Whew. Daniel Saul, again, these are drivers that we'll probably have to see again if they want to race in the top split of Super Sessions tomorrow. Miles Morris with an absolute worst case scenario in 16th position, unfortunately, with some issues 5 laps down. Emerson O'Shea with that jump start. Sten Miller, Joey Herbie, Daniel Solo. Guarantee we'll see them again. Michael Halford said in the chat saying, I flipped. That's awful because you had a great start. Even a solid top 10 would have been good in this SOF. But here's your entire final lap. And I mean, there's a lot of highlights in this race, but this has to be one of the best ones. So somebody who's raced with Crystal, she's super clean, almost to a detriment. A lot of the drivers in short course racing know when to throw the fender, know when not to. And Crystal is usually very patient, very clean overtake. So you're going to see Joel go a little bit wide down here to Cowboy. And all the while, Quentin Delomo in 3rd position just licking his chops. He's salivating, hoping something happens here. She goes shallow. She gives the door to Joel. All's fair in love in short course and gets the run on the outside. I really thought Joel was going to be able to cover her off here, but she was ready to keep this fight going. Keeps it, or parks it right in front of Crystal, gives her nowhere to go, and now the fight's on. She sticks her nose to the inside of Ponce turn 2. Joel's to the outside. She's going to just get into him again to be able to hold that inside line and get the run that banked outside corner gives you. She'll get the pass done, the slide job done in gravel pit, and Joel at this point already knew what he was going to do. Tries to go for the crossover. It's not going to happen. You're never going to hold it around the outside of the Calamity corner. So he backs off early, says, excuse me, Crystal, I need this win, I want this win, and gets the pass done. All the while, Quentin Delomo's right there. Throw a blanket over them. There's your top 3. There's your last lap. And there's your winner, the number 1 truck of Joel Blewett. If you loved what you just saw, we are nowhere near done yet. We'll be back again at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We're still broadcasting. Do not go anywhere. But we will be back again with our last qualifier, 7th qualifier race at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And then tomorrow's the big one, our European Split Super Session at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, or 8 a.m., 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern Time is our Super Session number 2. So our 2 Super Sessions tomorrow and our final qualifier tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the racing has only gotten better throughout the week. I can only imagine where it's going to go from here. You got a treat today. You guys got a treat today. I don't think I breathed that whole last lap. As we watched that whole last lap again, but here's your highlights from the feature race. Again, really clean, more or less, through Potawatomi turn 1. There's Cody Vanderveer, that number 7 machine, doing it for America. And he will be surely in the Super Session with how consistent he's been this week. Crystal has kept Joel honest all race. and she's been towards the front all week. This unfortunately was not her day. And then it was the Oliver and Evans show in this pack of wild dogs fighting for 5th spot. Anytime one driver fell back, a new driver joins the fray. Every lap they were in a different position. It starts right there. Joel trying to just go a little bit tighter, and that line starts to wear out, and Crystal just trying to pick her time, make her move. And like I said earlier, like oval racing, you don't really want to start throwing elbows out unless you're ready to live with the consequences. And unfortunately for Crystal, again, this looks dirty. Still, it's clean for short course. She tries to cut back to the inside and make it stop, but that factory sim team machine is going to have to settle for 2nd place. But she's been up towards the front all week, and she's been solidly within the top 5. We surely will see her in the Super Sessions. Again, there are Super Sessions for everybody. We're just talking about top split. We'll take the top 20 that show up and register. So even if you're just from the outside looking in, you still have a chance. Drivers like Miles Morse that come to mind with that. Hopefully tonight we get a little bit better picture of who's in and who's out. But there's still the, I would say, main race tonight, the main final qualifier at 9 Eastern time. And this is what we got in the morning. You are going to be at the edge of your seats this evening. What a show these drivers put on for us today, making their case as to why this is one of the, if not the best discipline in this service. One of the most underrated things that we can do in the service. Ladies and gentlemen, how do we feel? I got some drivers in the chat. I see Oliver Golding out there. Sean Winkler, P1 in points right now. That was awesome to see. Was Zach Blanche in top split? Yes, he was. Unfortunately, got kind of blendered towards the back, but didn't quite make it. Did the 6 not jump? I mean, I can send Evan a message because it really did look like he jumped, but maybe he just got it frame perfect. Kind of hard to tell. Whew. Got to see the dogfight in this split 2 from Alex Miller. I mean, everyone's got everything to play for it. Again, it's you got to really pick your chances and determine when and where you want to start throwing fenders and throwing bumpers. There's Crystal. Evan's been killing the starts. I thought he jumped. Somebody else behind him had jumped, and he was from the back row to ahead of you guys before he hit the first corner. So I'm like, cool, Evan's got a penalty, and looked at the end and was like, well, I guess I was wrong. So Crystal King in our Twitch chat, that was probably one of the best short course races I've had the chance to commentate. It was definitely the most fun race to watch this week. It was nuts. I was hoping you try to give Joel the business, but seems like he had other plans. But you still have the Super Session left as we get ready to jump into some World of Outlaws here in a little bit. Almost did a front flip. We caught on the inside. Yeah. Yeah, that'll happen. Whew. I can't wait to have Joey in the booth tonight. That is a lot of talking in not a whole lot of time. Got Brian Sawyer in the chat as well. He took a man to Applebee's last night, held his hand, bought him a dollarita, and didn't call him back. That's probably my favorite clip of the week so far. The man just disappearing from the frame. Like Brian had him by the throat. It was so good. All right. I did the thing that I had to do. I can put my phone down and stop being unprofessional. Speaking of unprofessional, it's coffee time. They make me wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm not built for that. I'm a Twitch streamer. I'm not used to waking up before noon. And we've got probably my favorite day of World of Outlaws, by the way. We got to show off. So I know there's been people in chat that have been asking for specific things. And this game is still very much not released yet. And I have a list of things that we're going through. So you've seen a lot of the same races and a lot of the same modes. It's not that we don't want to it's not just me playing the game and being able to go through whatever. We're showing off some very specific things to let you see some things for yourself still when the game releases. It is what it is, and the best day to be here today because we'll have Matt Lewis back in about 20 minutes or so to be able to talk us to be able to go through the career and so public. Well, we are playing ExoCross later, Sean. So we'll get to see it. I'll let you guys know the status of what we're getting on to later. Now we have a minute, so if the broadcast booth doesn't mind if I take 2 seconds to say something, because I've tried to touch on it a little bit and I kind of not had time. This has been one of the coolest things that I've ever got to do. Not just to be in the iRacing office and kind of have the floor to myself and be able to stream and hang out with chat and talk to chat. I actually have a chat window open today, which is awesome. And this is way more important to me, but to represent the dirt road community. I've had people like Brian reach out and send me a message. Tyler sent me a friend request the other night, and I was worried I said something mean about him. So it's been so cool to be able to be part of pushing, again, what I think is one of the most unique and fun communities in the sim. Not to downplay anything else, but when I want to get it, I did the All-Stars for the Championship Series a few years ago. And I have a drifting background, so I was like, this is fun. I want to get into this. And immediately I had people reach out like, hey, if you need help in, like with basics and whatever, we can help you out. Do you need setups? I know where to go for setups. This is kind of what do you want to do in this corner, trying to figure this stuff out. So it's been such a refreshing change of pace in a rightfully so, a very competitive community, because I think at the end of the day, all iRacers are competitive. We all want to win, regardless if it's GT3, sprint cars, next gens, whatever you're driving. To feel that kind of like, hey, we just love what we do, and we just want more people to do what we do. Obviously, there is that last 1% where it's still like, oh, we keep a little bit of our setup secrets to ourselves, but that's to be expected. But again, if you want to get into this, and at any point you watch today and this week, and we're like, this is awesome, I want to get into this. This is such a great community, a very supportive community, very small. Everybody's really accessible, so I hope that I'm doing right by them, and that they've been enjoying the broadcast this week. This is the highest level of dirt racing and short course racing that we have on the official side for the year. So it's been a treat to be able to, obviously not racing this year, I'm bummed about it, but this is almost even cooler. And the short course world, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but the leagues and stuff, but the short course world's got some cool stuff coming up with the Crandon Cup, which is the Pro 2 and the Pro 4. I love the Pro 2. It's a blast to drive. Rear-wheel drive is just better. But we have a lot to look back on from today. We're going into the highlight reel for today, so get settled for the next 15 minutes, I guess, because like both races were highlights. And this is your sprint race. A little bit more tame than the feature. Obviously, Daniel not getting a good start there. We're going to have to see him tonight. He's going to have a cup of coffee and stay up a little bit late and see if he can get his way into Top Split Super Sets tomorrow. That Countryman, if he didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. That man has been everywhere but the racetrack today. Crystal trying her best to get something done on Joel. I think just trying to learning the driving aspects of Joel Blewett, trying to get a download there, and we ended up paying off that second race. Just couldn't get it done, but it's not over, not by a long shot. Again, that never the spectacle of a land rush start never gets old. You have some trucks bouncing off the wall, but one of the cleaner starts of the week. I can't wait for tonight, because I've seen some people who have raced last night and said the night sessions are crazy. So really stoked to see who shows up tonight. Again, we haven't seen Connor Berry yet. Again, I should probably send him a message. That'd be a good idea. But I might probably do that before tonight. But he's probably, I think, in Crandon as the real-life equivalent of this is happening, I think, this week or next week. Oliver Golding having a great run. He got that fourth place. He needed that really bad to be able to get those points. Again, this is the more higher SOF, the more points he gets. And Crystal, again, such a huge improvement that she's just been getting better and better and better in these Pro 4 trucks to take on somebody who was in contention for a championship. And then, unfortunately, just I'm sure she knew it was coming, but really well played by Joel, lifting off early and giving her a bit of the bumper. And we'll carry that into, I'm sure that feud is not over as we carry that into the Super Sessions on Saturday. Yeah, okay, Sean has just told me that Connor is literally at the racetrack, so we will have a new champion this year. Maybe we'll get, I still might send him a message and just let him know that we're thinking about him this week and wishing him well. Again, all you have is a C-Class, D-Class license, not hard to get here in Dirt Road. You can participate. There's still one session left. You still got some time. And then the highest point Super Sessions will be dealt by points. If you are the top 20 in points, you will be in that top split. iRacing does not matter at that point. If you are in the top 20, you will be in the top splits. But even if not, second split, third split, the races will still be exciting to race in tonight, exciting to watch in tonight. The participation this week has been incredible. It's been so cool to see the life of short course racing this week. It's been really, really, really fun. But Matt did say Friday maybe. So, unfortunately, I'm sure I'll hear about it later. But we're going into the career, though, of World of Outlaws. I get to start my life as a championship dirt oval driver and begin my career to usurp Donnie's shots for giving me the stink eye. Don't think I forget that, Donnie. I now have Ron Capps and Donnie shots that I have beef of. But hold on, wait a minute. We can time this. I have magic powers here. 1 second. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody pressed a button somewhere. Thanks, Drew. Really quick, we'll make sure to repeat this a few times throughout the broadcast, but if you like what you see here and you want to pick up the new version or the new game for World of Outlaws Dirt Racing 24, it's available for pre-order right now at worldofoutlaws.game.com. The Xbox One, Xbox Series S, PS4, and PS5. It'll be out September 17th. If you get the Gold Edition, you get it 3 days early it is time to get started with some career mode. Let's check out World of Outlaws 24.
World of Outlaws Dirt Racing 24 will be available September 17th. Pre-order your copy today.
Quick race, cool. The challenge mode's actually really cool, minus Donnie shots looking at me like my parents look at my report card. But this is the reason I'm personally excited for this. And I'm really stoked to get my own hands on this game. And when it releases September 17th, you can pre-order it right now at worldofoutlaws.game.com. Is a career mode. Oh, apparently, am I muted? Hello? All right. Something pre-order game, worldofoutlaws.game.com, game.com, Xbox game.com, the game. But again, I'm really stoked to get into this. The quick race was fun, driving some cars that I've never driven before. The challenge mode, minus the way Donnie looks at me, like my parents look at me when I tell them I still don't have a real job, are great. But the career mode, I think, is the real meat and potatoes of this game. It's something that these developers have done so well at in the past, and something that I think that is really underdone in the racing game space is a really good immersive career. It's something that they have said that they've worked on in the past. So let's get into it. Let's jump into the beginning parts of the career mode here. We're going to become the Outlaw and take Johnny Shots' lunch money.
So you want to become a dirt legend? Well, I'm here to tell you, it's a long road and it's a lot of work.
For the 500th time in his storied career, Johnny Shots is a sprint car winner.
For me, it was kind of inevitable, you know, from day one. My dad had always raced, and I always watched him, and that's something that I always had interest in. And after I graduated high school, my dad basically said, you got 2 years to try and make something of it, or else you're going to have to come to work.
I started when I was 10 years old in go-karts, and I was able to race them for several years, right up until my father got me the opportunity to drive a sprint car at the age of 14. And I focused on racing at a local level and regional level, racing everywhere I could to get myself to the World of Outlaws. And that happened in 1997. I raced with the World of Outlaws for a full season in 1997, became Rookie of the Year.
Back-to-back, the four-time champion wins Brandon Shepard.
My last couple of years of high school, I knew I was going to try my darndest to make something out of it, and then shortly after I graduated, it kind of became reality that I could do it if I, you know, put all my effort into it.
28 seasons later, I'm still here. 10-time champion, 11 Knoxville Nationals. Those are legendary. Now it's your turn.
I think we saw him crack a smile. That's incredible. Donnie is line of an investor willing to fund your first ride. Thank you, anonymous benefactor. But we'll get into the micro sprints. It's the car I've driven the most. I had people asking about the street stock body. I was hoping that we'd get into it. Maybe we still will. Maybe we'll have time in the career. All right, team branding. We're in Boston, right? Ish. Clover Motorsport. Go on, Clover, like you're late from us. I'm just going to go. I'm not going to mess around with this too much. Apparently I'm allowed to put my name in. Oh. That's not fair. Maybe we put my real name in. That's not. Wait, what? Okay, that's interesting. I was going to put it as Mr. iRacing, but that's fine, I guess. Old Team No Fun in the production booth. So you got some presets for your driver, and just in terms of purple. Okay, that's not. Oh no, that's gonna clash with the green. There we go. That's better. Here's the advanced mode. I'm not gonna get super stuck into this, but if you want to change your style of suit, so your design, these flames is good. You can copy it to the helmet, which is nice, so you don't have to go and make a totally separate design unless you want to. That has different designs too. You can, oh wow! So you can make shapes to the suit. So if you really want to get, if you're creative and really want to get stuck in with this, it seems like there's. Oh, that's awesome! It seems like you can get stuck in with it, but I am not, and I think we're all here to see some racing. So let's jump in and start our career to become the next championship outlaw driver. I love Easy Gamer Score. Path to becoming a legend. Start your local race team. So we are jailed from the regional and the nationals. Let's go into the local stuff. The stuff you see at your local dirt track. Be a legend. Congratulations. Start your own race team. It's time to head down the path to becoming the next dirt racing legend. Let's head out to the track to show everyone what you can do. You'll start your career racing locally. Prove yourself to earn opportunities to move up to the higher series. Your goal is to get to the World of Outlaws, where the legends are born. Choose Go Racing to start your journey. What if I don't want to? Earn skill points by meeting your practice and goals, as well as finishing on the leaderboard. As your skills grow, you'll earn entry. And so if you do more completionist style stuff, you can kind of zip through the career faster, which is how I like to play games. These vehicles can be raced locally. Earning skill points will Convince your investment backers to add them to your team for now. Choose the one vehicle available in your garage. So obviously you'll have ways to race other stuff later on, but we are in the micro sprints. There's the lean, mean green machine in the 99. We'll get on the track. Whose laptop is this? It's very nice, actually. Millbridge to kick off the local micro season. I love racing my whole life, but now I'm actually completing declared new race. That's me! Now I got interviewed. That's news. That background's very Dirt to Daytona-esque. Man, you're never going to believe this. That might be, that might not be by accident. And as somebody who I love NASCAR games of that era, Dirt to Daytona is. So I love the whole aesthetic of this game so far and everything that they've done in terms of how the presentation and how it looks, because it is very Dirt to Daytona. All right, let's go. Sorry, Brandon. Sorry, Brandon. Cones. And that's something new to the game. Matt talked about it a little bit on Wednesday, is the tear-offs, and that they're limited, too, which is cool. So you kind of can't just keep spamming the Y button and hoping for the best. I'm going to go for one more. We did get our practice goal, which is good for our progression in the career. Just want to see if the setup will be good. Probably not, but it's fine. And end practice. Let's check out the leaderboard. I would have been second there, but we got first there at the end. You know what? I'm going to stop trying to be intelligent and just leave it on the stock setup. Every time I try to change it, it gets worse. So, much the same sort of event format as quick racing. It's cool that they have the entire, like, it's not just practice qualifying race. They have the heats and everything. It's very unique to the sport. So it's something that is essential to kind of the world building and the immersion in a career mode. It's very hard to get an immersive career mode in a racing game because it's just kind of like, go out and do the thing. 30 what? We got a long ways to go here. At least we beat Norm Gray. We got Norm beat, and Greg's cousin Phil is ahead of us in 34th. Who's on the pole? Edward. Okay. Yeah, I guess I never thought about the car is our engine is made of hopes and dreams right now, not necessarily horsepower and go fast bits. So we're in the third heat. I'm going to try this because the track's going to be a little bit more used up, and the car felt really loose. So, or the sprint, or I don't know, the vehicle. That's me. The rock music in my ear. I'm focused. I'm ready to not brake for any of these corners and move everybody out of the way. Checking. All right, that's one pass. Any sort of improvement in position here would be ideal. I like this, though. Like, this is the whole point of a career mode. Oh, I think I should go on the bottom. This is the whole point of a career mode in games like this, is to kind of be junk early on and feel the sense of I'm building my team and I'm getting faster. You know, if you want instant gratification, there's other modes for that. I think that's the best part about games like this, and something that this game does really well. So we fought for 8th there and then did a whole lot of nothing with it. We got Dustin beat, but that's not going to do us much. B main, I don't think we're making the A main here, lads.
The top 5 finishers in this last chance qualifier will advance.
The top 5. So unless an asteroid hits Millbridge Raceway, we're not really going to have a chance here. But we can. Good start. My name is Tom Mintz, and I'm here to do slap wheelies. Why not go 3 wide? That's probably why not you go 3 wide. Sorry, Mr. Matthews. That's what you get for playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs. 12. It's something.jpg. Out of the way. I have people watching me and I don't want to embarrass myself. Oh, yeah. I don't know why I was trying to run the high line. What's something, too, is I was really kind of struggling with learning how to drive the game properly. And because the cars are worse early on in the career, I find this way easier to drive. So we got to send Jared Matthews a Christmas card. That's my bad. Dustin Powell still found his way to finish last, but in the top 10. We haven't found our way into the A mains yet. Never mind. That makes it a whole lot worse. We didn't just tell me the final position. We just got that too. So Donnie Schatz is sitting somewhere right now in his arms crashes. I don't know where he is in the world right now, but he feels a disturbance in the force. All right. To come up as a big part of the rush. Oh yeah, absolutely. We tried driving faster. I'll give that a whirl. Yeah, so I don't know whose uncle put my car together, but that's not good. But the driver makes debut, has the skills to be, because nobody else has made the B main yet. Okay, where are we going now? I want to fix my car. No. Okay, I thought that's what that was. Oh, parts and repairs. $5. Oh, repaired $68 for repair our parts. Perfect. They wanted me to go to the next event. You're setting me up for failure. There we go. Give me just a second, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to move you to a monitor where I can actually see what you're saying without having to turn my head around. There we go. I've got you all there now. Practice session. I haven't raced at Fairbury, so. All right, we're starting bought some hammer and some duct tape. Pretty much. Oh, this is going to be, like, fast for these. Welcome to Talladega, except for not at all. So I like that they make it important to do practice. Obviously, like, if you're playing on a super high difficulty, getting a setup dialed and whatnot is important to get the car kind of where you want it, but having the extra like bonus of career is it's cool that it incentivizes that, because it's just going to make it part of your like workflow. I don't know if workflow is the right word. It appears we are still giga slow. Let's just see what happens in qualifying. Congratulations, you beat the practice school time. Perfect. Next session. So as long as we're not last, I'm happy. I'm going to run it like no wing and see if that makes a difference. And that's new to this game this year, is the adjustable wing and the sprints. So we'll take all the downforce out of it and try to just gain some speed, because we have no grip in the corners regardless. So our car is made of leaves. It's my way to becoming a dirt legend, is just being at the back complaining about it the whole time. All right. The game's happy with that. I went middle. I shouldn't have done that. Tried the bottom line there. I don't think we improved. 28th? I was like 30-something last time. We're still at the back, but yeah. Take it, Eddie. There's Phil West back there. Goodbye, Phil. Thanks for coming, Phil. All right, so we need to be top 2 to advance to the qualifying dash. Once again, we need some sort of major incident. This is not really going to happen. The hashtag gamer in me. What's up, Jado? The hashtag gamer in me needs to win everything. So I gotta have to like turn that part of my brain off and accept that we're gonna stink for a while. And that's the fun part. to 6th. No. No. Okay, we have 3 laps. 5th is gone. I'm going to try running the high line in the main race. Yeah, I think running the low line's not good here. We 4th in the B main. Wait. Hold on. We might make the A main. There is a world where we make the A main. I think it's top 5. All it took was having a functional motor vehicle. Okay. So we're 4th. We need to be in the top 5. We're on the outside. We'll go down on the wing. Patient. Have to run off the corner. Oh, I don't like this. Never mind. I like this a lot. I'm a big fan of this. Fighting for 3rd. I'm out of tear-offs. I kept pressing the button like an imbecile. And so, I gotta just trust that we'll have the run. Crisscross? Did I get? Oh, okay. That's fine. We're still in. It was close for 3rd. With Joey Armstrong. Wow. A 48.419 or 48.487. Can't really, we made our first A main. Can't really complain about that. That made the car worse. I told myself I wouldn't touch. All right, we're in. Starting the 17th place, Chuck Diaz. All right. We're playing with house money here. Got a long way to go and not a whole lot to get there. A top 20 would be sweet. Try running the top just to kind of get out of the... Oh, look who's confident. It's me. I'm on the brakes. Yeah, I turned it way too early. Something I have with an issue with Dirt Oval and iRacing too is I just don't know where to go until it's too late. I don't time runs very well. I have no trust to like, oh, if I run the top, I'll just get them on the straightaway. It's fine. Oh, excuse me. We are 1 spot away. I would take 21st. I would love a top 20. When are we going to get AI for Dirt Ovals? Hopefully soon. That'd be a good way to practice and learn how to time runs and race against other people. The AI is so fun to just hang out with your friends and try stuff that you normally wouldn't in officials, so. I'm going to send it on Diaz here. Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. Oh, wait. Donnie would be so proud of me. Are you happy now, Mr. Shots? So we ended up 18th. It's a lot better than like 30 something if Jerry Anderson getting the win. Where did not Greg Hill finish? We sold 2 t-shirts. 2 of them. Fantastic. And we made 700 checkered flags from the race payout. I'm assuming that's money. That's the currency in World of Outlaws. They take all your a lot better than Canadian dollars, I'll tell you that. Oh! I didn't think it would wear that. We did have a little kerfuffle, to be fair. I thought it started off rough, but we're getting better. We're improving. We'll jump into the late models one more time, and I think that is going to be it for our preview. A very, 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 I don't say limited, because we did get to check out quite a bit, but this is only a drop in the bucket of what this game has to offer for content. We're going to do late models, but the amount of different things that you can race in a game that's technically about one discipline is kind of nuts. Like I said earlier, I know a lot of people are like, can you show this? Can you show this? There's a list of things that are the games. This is a preview. It's not the full game. The game's not done, not ready to be released yet. So this is what we're going to end up going through. This is hopefully not the last time that you guys get to take a quick look at it. And again, the full game with all the content will be released on September 17th. There's a corner there. It's still there. It's nice to be in equal equipment again. Not being stuff made out of duct tape and hopes and dreams. Try running the bottom this time. I've always been running the top because I'm scared to hit the inside wall, but try running the lower line of this, at least when it's early on. That's why I didn't want to do that. Okay, I got my practice goal. That's fine. That's cool. I'm going to go with that. And the in-car view is like how everything shakes is super violent, but I like the air cleaner view here. There's a corner there. That's still a corner there. That's still a corner there. I hope I made the setup looser because I just keep throwing it in the wall like it's the wall's not stopped being there. Our sense menacing. It's very rare that you hear a really good sounding V8 in games, and all the V8s in this game sound fantastic. Even the micro scripts sound fantastic. We're on the pole. I didn't touch this. It was just a skill issue. I don't think all the dirt tracks are in the game, but there's quite a bit that are official, and there's quite a bit that are fictional as well. There's a lot of different places to race in different layouts. And they're all ovals, of course, but... And on top of this, you still have Husitz and Oswego that will be part of the Gold Edition if you end up pre-ordering that, as well as 3 days of early access. And alternate liveries for Brandon Shepard and Donnie Schatz. So you get Donnie Schatz as a late model and Brandon Shepard's sprint car. Obviously, they're known for... Brandon's more of a late model person and Donnie's more of a sprint car person, which is an understatement. Back in the dash. I tell you, I'm still not particularly good at this video game, but I'm a lot better than I was on Wednesday, which is great. I was having troubles. Speaking of Shepard, there he is in the Dude Wipes machine. What I only dreamed of as a kid. They're not, so I'm from Ontario, they're not that far from me. And I've had friends say, like, you need to go to a dirt race, you need to go to a dirt race. I didn't know Wheatsport was that close either. I passed the sign for Oswego 100 times. Usually when I'm flying in the United States, I'm flying out of Syracuse, so very around in northern New York. All right, we're into the A main. Do that because the track's looser. By Syracuse. I drive down from, I live in Ottawa, so I drive down from there, but Syracuse is the biggest airport that's close to me. So I could drive across the border and then fly out of Syracuse. Which, that is a different version of the anthem, yeah. It's a wall. So there we go. The goal here is to not hit anything. I don't think I've had a clean race yet. The tighter setup helped a lot. I still shouldn't be on the track where I am, but way too wide. I tried to run the cushion. That didn't work. Still too wide. All right, I'm really glad the goal was to not hit anything, not run a consistent line, because we're all over the place. I haven't lapped anything yet, I don't think. Whoop! Brakes don't really do anything. I was panic braking and it did nothing. Oh, well, there goes that pipe dream. To the top. And to the bottom. Can I clear? Yes. I'm stoked to be able to get into this when it releases on September 17th. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been World of Outlaws. There's much more there, and you'll have to find out when the game releases again on September 17th. You can pre-order now, worldofoutlaws.game.com. It's been fun taking you through the beginning parts of the career. But thank you very much for hanging out with me, playing some World of Outlaws. I know, again, it's been my first time playing it, so I hope I did right by the community and Donnie Shots. Please, Donnie, don't send people to my house. I do my best. But thanks for hanging out with us. Again, you can pre-order the game right now in worldofoutlaws.game.com for Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, on whatever form of console you have at home, whether it's PlayStation or Xbox. And now, time to get into a game I'm a little bit more familiar with, something I've actually completed front to back, which is ExoCross, and I believe we have a special guest in the booth with us, and I believe, Paul, do you have a copy?
I've got a few copies of it, I think. Hi.
How are we doing, Paul? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So we are going to do today the best that we can to drive the Titan, the most terrifying thing in this video game. I played it already at home, and the Titan is something that I couldn't get to grips with until like the very end of the game. So we'll do the best that we can, but it's cool to have you here. Obviously, for those who have never seen or heard from you before, what's your role with ExoCross? What were you involved with?
So my title is creative director, but where in other games that is more of a kind of top-level design role, overseeing the creative of the project, can often go into the art direction side of things as well as the game direction. For ExoCross, it was much more of a game design kind of jack of all trades role. So I was involved with some of the car handling stuff, some of the level design stuff, as well as some of the story, some of the single player progression modes, as well as the kind of bare bones design of the new game modes that came in. So it was a lot more hands-on than I think most creative director roles would be in traditional game studios, but it was really good to get back into some of that kind of hands-on game development day to day, which, you know, previously in my previous roles, that was something that would be delegated out to a bigger team of designers. So it's been a really fun project to work on, and hopefully that fun that we've had making the games is coming across in the game that you play.
Specifically, everything that I've been really singing the praises of, again, I have my copy at home. I finished all the championships. I've done all the challenges. Is the level design and the driving. All the tracks flow really well, forwards and reverse, and the way that each vehicle drives so different, while looking similar, it's like three totally different disciplines. So, not just doing that because you're here. It's if you go back and anything that I've said this whole week, that's been like two of my favorite parts of the whole game. You touched on it a little bit, but obviously not your first project, and you've been worked on a lot of stuff that's been off-road or dirt related.
Yeah, most of my game development career has been racing games, and I would say of that, 95% has been off-road. So I actually got into video games after playing the original Colin McRae Rally game with my friends at university. We were all poor and kind of running on student loans, so we would just sit and I think we would essentially pass the pad around on the sofa, taking it in turns to run stages, and that sort of got me hooked on dirt from a gaming perspective, but also got me more passionate about rally as a sport. I think I'd fallen out of love a bit with Formula One, which had been my previous passion when I was younger. And rally was going crazy, certainly over here in Europe. Colin McRae, and some of the other really big names, the Tommy Mackinons, the Carlos Sainz drivers, they were all kind of battling with each other in the Group A cars, and rally was, absolutely in its sort of second golden era after Group B. So there was a lot to love about the sport, and obviously being able to represent that in a video game was a super cool thing to do. So it kind of changed my direction that I wanted to go in. I think I went to university to study automotive engineering, and while playing a lot of video games at university, it kind of dawned on me that actually it would be cool to get into games and start making those instead. So as I wrapped up my university courses, I found out that the company that made Colin McRae Rally was literally like half an hour down the road from where I was at university. So I just started applying for whatever job I could find there. Ended up getting something in the game test team. The first game I worked on was a game called Race Driver, so the spiritual kind of genesis of the grid games. And then after that, I started working on the rally games with Colin McRae. And then I moved into game design, and that's where I started working on the Dirt franchise, which is where I spent the majority of my design career. So Dirt, Colin McRae Dirt, Dirt 2, 3, Showdown, Dirt 4, Dirt Rally was probably one of my favorite projects. And then I left the company while they were still working on Dirt Rally 2. So pretty much the whole series minus Dirt 5. But yeah, it was my life, like so much so that at one point I actually jumped into the co-driver seat of a real rally car just to get more experience of the world of rally racing and really understanding what it was like to compete off-road in the highest performance vehicle I could get in without actually having to learn to be a rally driver myself. So co-driving was the kind of quick option.
I'm really glad that you brought that up. One of my favorite games of all time, again, I'm not just saying this because you're here, is Dirt 2. I loved the X Games culture as a kid and everything that went on with that, so Dirt 2 is not just a fantastic driving game, but in the way it was built and everything, is kind of a time capsule of where motorsports and counterculture was at the time, so it's really cool to have you here. For the uninitiated, if you could summarize it very briefly, I know it's a big project, but how would you describe ExoCross as a game?
I think first and foremost, it's a really fun pick up and play off-road racing game. I think in a nutshell what we've tried to do is bottle what it's like to throw a pretty rugged, robust, like long suspension travel vehicle over different surfaces, different terrains, and of course with the premise of the game being set on planets in outer space, that's allowed us to do a little bit more in terms of the types of environments that we go to, the types of planets that we're racing on, and these vehicles, they are pretty large. Like it doesn't necessarily come across on the screen immediately, but you know, they have huge suspension travel. The wheels are kind of enormous, and that allows them to do things that perhaps a smaller car would probably get a bit too much punishment from trying to achieve. So some of these ruts and these banks that you're kind of going into here, because of the weight of the vehicle, because of its momentum, and because of its speed, you know, we're doing pretty high speeds around here. Like 200 miles an hour on dirt is never a good idea, whatever planet you're on. And we just wanted to try and make sure that players could push things to an extreme while still grounding it in believable vehicle physics. So yeah, this for us was a really good opportunity to kind of take a strong graphics platform and play with the physics to make sure that the dirt handling was authentic but still fun. And you can definitely pick up and play this on a controller. I have a cool racing wheel that I do my sim racing on, but when it comes to my console gaming, I like to chill out and hold the controller in my hand. And we definitely wanted to make sure that this game was fun to play on a controller without any of the assists. You know, so you're not finding that you have to turn assists on in order to be able to play with a pad. So a lot of that actually comes from the way that we set up the tire model. We have some secret sauce in there that essentially models how the tire digs into the dirt based on the speed and the sliding that you're doing. And that's what really captures that feel of being able to kind of throw the car into a corner and feeling it kind of finding the grip, which to me is what really captures the essence of off-road racing. One of the first things you experience when you go out in a rally car or any kind of off-road vehicle is how much grip there actually is, despite the fact that you're driving in very loose surfaces, often sand or gravel or dirt. You know, but the tires are designed in such a way that they cut into the surface and find the grip. So you really can lean on the tire when you throw the car sideways and get that confidence of the surface kind of packing up against the tire, and giving you that confidence to slide sideways through a corner. And that's something that I really tried to capture with how we set these cars up. You know, that feeling of I can really throw this car around, and yet the grip and the confidence is still there. I'm not just sliding off into the scenery.
As somebody who's come from the short course world in iRacing, I mean, not surprised you hit the nail on the head. It's kind of a video game, but that came to me really quick in terms of how you move the car around and throwing it into corners. Obviously, the faster you're going, we're in the Titan here, and I'm on extreme, so I'm kind of getting humbled a bit by the AI, but everything's really natural. And then to your point, we had Camille in yesterday who's not familiar with the platform, and she picked it up right away and was getting silver and gold times on the challenges. But at home, I'm using my racing wheel and in cockpit view, and it's been a blast to play. And on the leaderboards, you see some people top times with keyboard and mouse. So, I mean, oh, well, maybe that's not ideal. But the pickup and playability of ExoCross is something that was nailed to a T, and it's cool that was in mind of whether you're playing on a controller, keyboard, or a wheel, you're going to have a good time regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think one of the sort of goals of any game design is to make a game that's easy to pick up but has depth there to it, so that you've actually got a reason to keep playing it and keep mastering it. And that's where some of the challenge modes really kind of play into the hands of that. You know, you jump in, you set a goal time, you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. and then you might try and set a better time than your previous one, and then you unlock the red diamond, and you're like, whoa, there's a whole other level to this of like developer set times. And then once you've got that red diamond time, you go and look at the leaderboards and you're like, hang on a minute, there's a whole global community out there setting better times than that. So that gives you another kind of thing to start chasing. And then that leads into the challenge modes as well, where, you know, we set up some slightly more kind of wild courses, but they're kind of like, they've got loop-the-loops in some of them. There's, you know, ramps. There's just loads of cool ways to play these same tracks, but those are time limited. You get to do them for a couple of weeks, and then the next one loads. So, you know, being champion of one of those special events is really kind of a good bragging rights thing.
So you've obviously worked on a ton of projects and have a lot of experience in the off-road gaming world. What was something that was unique about the development process of ExoCross to you?
So I think the thing that blew me away when I joined the Orontes team and started seeing what they had was the fact that they'd built an engine themselves from the ground up, and there was a lot of tools available in terms of level design and car handling that were pretty much good to go. A lot of the other companies I've worked for have either had very old legacy engines that, you know, you try and tweak even the smallest thing, and it's like pulling a thread on a jumper. The whole thing starts to fall apart. Or you've got a bunch of engineers just going, don't touch that, we'll never touch that, because if we touch that, we don't know what will happen. The engine was so fresh, and it was technically designed with the future in mind, that it was extremely high performance on console very, very quickly. Actually, some of the initial tests that were running, the game was running at a really good frame rate. And I've worked on projects quite recently where, you know, they were working in Unreal, and we had it running okay on PC. As soon as we put it on console, the frame rate turned into a slideshow. And then the next 3 months were essentially, what can we strip out of this game to try and make sure that the frame rate is acceptable for players. We didn't have that worry with ExoCross. Sure, on the lower console tiers, like the Xbox One S, we have had to drop the visual fidelity a little bit, but the performance is definitely still there. Like, you can still have all of the gameplay fidelity that you need from the game. It's just that the resolution has been dropped a little bit. So, you know, I think it's an absolute kind of shining example of how, when you get the right people together and they set their mind to something technically very challenging, but they've got that kind of can-do attitude, you know, you do get these amazing results. So, you know, the Orontes engine is great for a game like ExoCross, and for me as a could say veteran developer, although I don't particularly like the term, coming into this project, I was really, really impressed with how well the engine had been put together and how scalable it was. And I think, you know, for future iterations that we do as a team, either of this project or anything that we do in the future, there's a lot of really positive foundations there that we can build upon. And you know, we are set up well for anything we want to do in the future here. So I'm excited for what it has, and I think that's a testament to Torsten and Christian, the brothers who put this together initially when it was Drag, the early access game.
So, Paul, it's been a treat having you here, being such a big part of, I'm sure, mine and a lot of people who are watching childhoods. And as you said, too, as somebody who's played through the game, who's probably 20 or 30 hours in the game now, and that's only going to increase as I start chasing some world records. I'm really excited to see, as you said, where it goes from here. It's one of my favorite driving off-road games that's been released in years. It's the world that you've built with the cutscenes and everything is super cool. It makes me feel like I'm part of it. And thank you for your time. It's been awesome having you here, and the passion in the project and what you have for this comes across in the way you speak of it. So thank you very much for kind of hanging out with us for a bit and take some time out of your day, and can't wait to see what comes next from you.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope anyone who picks up ExoCross enjoys it as much as we did.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Coleman, it was nice to have him here, and kind of stuff that we've seen from playing the game, but to hear it from somebody who's involved with the development process, and to hear a bunch of where they were at, and having Paul list off all the projects he's worked on, I'm like, cool, this dude was an integral part to my entire childhood. As we finally, well, I'm not done yet. I'm like, I'm gonna get a win on Extreme. For full disclosure, the plan was to turn the difficulty down so I can just focus on talking to Paul. Totally forgot to do that. Whoops. But I think that's where this game really shines, is when you turn the difficulty up and really get challenged. But we won't have time to go through all of the championship modes here, but you can do that yourself if you go on and pick up a copy of ExoCross wherever good video games are sold, PlayStation, Xbox, PC. It'll even run on the Linux machines. So go ahead and give it a try for yourself. Keyboard and mouse, controller, racing wheel, whatever you've got, you're going to have a good time with ExoCross. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that concludes the beginning part of our broadcast today. We're going to come back for the second and final qualifier race for the Crandon Championships tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The race this morning was crazy. It can only get crazier from here. Thank you to everybody who's been a part of our preview this week. That's Paul Coleman and the ExoCross team, and that is also Matt and the World of Outlaws team. Both projects have been super cool to kind of get it stuck into this week. But thank you very, very much for everybody who's been involved in this preliminary part of the broadcast. Thank you all for watching and showing up and asking questions and getting involved and hanging out with us. That's been a blast. That's been a treat. And tonight, too, I'm very, very excited. Again, it's been awesome playing these console games that iRacing's been working on, but it's also very, very cool now to be able to be commentating and showcase the highest level of short course racing in the service with the most competitive drivers and the hardest racing, which will be tonight and then tomorrow, both super sessions. If you've been watching all week, it'll start the same time at about 11 o'clock Eastern Time. And then our super session number 2 will be the 9 p.m. tomorrow at Crandon International Raceway, again, the home of short course racing here in North America, out in Wisconsin. What a treat. What a treat. Full disclosure, I got to talk to Paul a little bit earlier on in the week and kind of saw his background and went, wait a minute. So really cool to see what he's worked on. And I had a whole list of questions, and he kind of just went through them naturally, talking to hear his passion for this project and how stoked he is. It's nice to know as well, as a fan, not just somebody who's wearing this shirt, where that they're already looking to go forward from here. Because I think that was my biggest. I just want more. I want more ExoCross. I want more of what this team can do. So I'm excited that that's also where their heads are at, and really stoked to see what the Orhantis team and everybody with the iRacing side of ExoCross can get in it done. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been stuck with this mug all week, and I'm pleased to report that my partner in crime for the rest of our broadcast, Joey Atterbury. Joey, for the first time this week, welcome to the booth.
And then the ExoCross, the Woo stuff that's going on, the World of Outlaws. It's been a lot of fun watching you.
I mean, are you looking forward to tonight? We had a really good race this afternoon, and it's only going to get crazier from here, with that being the final chance to earn your way into that top split super session, your last chance to earn some points. And then we have 2 features races tomorrow with their 11 a.m. and their 9 p.m.
You're asking me if I'm going to be pumped to see some Pro 4 trucks at Crandon? Of course I am, man. It's the big house. Like, what is cooler than 900 horsepower all-wheel drive trucks literally flying through the air between the razor jump, the gravel pit, the hairpin? It's just going to be so much fun. And like you were saying, all of those races that have already been going on this week, it was extremely close at the finish of that feature earlier today. A little bump and run on that final turn. Not surprised if we're going to see some more of that too.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can tune in again 9 o'clock Eastern Time. I wish I had a clock in front of me. I do. In about 8 hours, we'll have that second race. But now, Take a look at that. Somebody who was not on that list at all with his win today, Joel Blewett, goes to the top of the board in points. Quentin Delomos now in the conversation. Crystal King has improved her spot. She would have been down in 4th or 5th. She's back up to 2nd. So drivers more from the North American side like Dave Culver, Tyler Shattuck. That Countryman's going to probably have to race again just in case. Oliver Golding's got a good start. Terry Miller's just in there. So Miles Morse, who was on the outside looking in, is now just on the outside. And I think the biggest story here is a driver that was almost, I think, still in the top 5, Cody Vanderveer, went all the way down to 14th.
It just kind of, it's a contact sport, right? It doesn't matter if you're starting on the inside of Crandon with that land rush start. I mean, you can have a clear windshield. By the time you come out of there, you could have about 10 trucks in front of you. So, like, we're looking at these points. It's easy to get shuffled down, isn't it? And especially if you just kind of get shoved off of the racing line, especially in the hairpin, how close these trucks are the first couple laps. It's not like you're losing 1 or 2 spots. You could kind of get shoved out there, and all of a sudden your points could literally go out the window.
Yeah, and again, just for outside, so those names without flags are names that are now in. So Tyson Miller almost making his way into that top 20 just with 1 race, 1 attempt. So we'll have to see Tyson again. Colin Brown as well, somebody from the lower splits who worked their way up into the top 30. So even if they don't make that top 20, they'll be in second split, which is still a huge accomplishment. We'll have to see Wes Graham, I know friend of the channel, will have to race again. And Daniel Solo is somebody who started up on that top 10 and slowly kind of had some bad luck and worked their way down. So Miles Morse was 20th. He's now 33rd. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see this whole top 40 or so range completely get shaken up. Trevor Teal up there. Brian Sora, we saw a race yesterday. He's going to have to find an improvement. So I don't know about you, Joey, but I see a lot of names here that I know will be racing tonight, and I'm sure they also know that they need some good showings.
Well, and let me ask you this, because if you're kind of in this position, you're a little bit further back in those points, what kind of is your mindset as an off-road racer that you need to go out there and gain those positions, but you also can't just shove people out of your way?
Well, I mean, that's true, and it's really unique because I was in this spot last year outside looking in towards the end of the week. I only ended up getting into the Super Session. I think we were 19th out of 20 to get in. We saw it with Joel and Crystal. If you start throwing elbows, you have to really be ready to kind of get what you give. So if you're somebody like Brian Soar or Trevor Teal and you start bowling people out of the way, yeah, you might make that Super Session if you get really aggressive, or you might get it back to you in spades and end up over the bank and the fence. So it's just risk reward. We practice qualifying. You can see if you're at least in those top 3 positions in the land rush, it's much smoother there towards the inside. You miss a lot of the chaos. And then just practicing passing as well. If you do get knocked back, then you have some moves in your back pocket. But it's really tough because the races aren't that long. You only have 6 and 10 laps to get it done. So not a whole lot of time to be able to move that truck up the track.
I think that's also kind of the beauty of short course racing, right? Is that you have to have that mentality, but it's also a close, tight-knit group, right? If you go bowling over people, trust me, you're going to get it paid back, like you just said. It's a two-edged sword. It might work out for you right now, but then later in the evening, might not work out for you when it really matters.
So it's been a heck of a day. The racing in Crandon has only gotten better. And today, again, it was a treat to talk to Paul Coleman. That was been checking off a lot of bucket list things this week, so that just adds to it. Joey, it's going to be a treat to have you here. I think you commentated probably one of my first dirt races, so I know we did some stuff with Roush in the dirt stuff. You were there for that, so this has kind of come full circle now. I'm going to throw it to you just in a second. I'm stoked. I can't wait to see who shows up tonight. Obviously, we're going to have a new champion, Connor Berry. What a nerd. He's out at the racetrack like a loser trying to race in real life. I got sponsor obligations. Not Max Verstappen. Can't bring a rig to the racetrack. But with what we have in terms of on the outside looking in, on the inside looking in, comfortable, and who we're going to see in that top 20, what are you looking forward to tonight?
I think when you watch short course racing, it's really smooth as fast, right? If you're going all over the track, you're not going to be up towards the front. And then also, you got to respect your competitors out there. We were just talking about barging your way through. It's not going to work out for you in the end. You're allowed to bump and bang and rub elbows a little bit, but as soon as you start moving people out of the way, I think it's going to get paid back to you. But I think when I look at the driver and kind of the Bob Ross landscape of it all, keep the truck clean, keep it smooth, and you're going to find yourself at an opportunity towards the front to win it all.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll have to find out tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. It is your last chance to be able to race your way into those super sessions, your last chance at picking up some points, and we'll have to see what happens this evening. Thank you very much for watching this afternoon and all of our previews of our new project with ExoCross and World of Outlaws. We are nothing but short course racing for the rest of the weekend, and we'll catch you tonight for our final qualifier for our Crandon Championship. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.